Hi all, Wolf Lord Rho here again, and today we are jumping on the Jaghatai Khan versus Fulgrim hype train. Oh yes, as some of you will already be aware, at the Siege of Terra, we will see the Khan go one-on-one against Fulgrim, or should I say one on four-armed demon Primarch? Either way, we are in store for some amazing Primarch v Primarch action that people have been looking forward to for quite a while now. And why the excitement, I hear some of you cry? Well, let me enlighten you. First off, spoiler warning as usual. Today we are covering events from the novel Scars. So go check this book out before you continue on, because again, it's a great one. As many people out there, I didn't really know much about the White Scars other than their love of speed and bikes before this novel, the kind of stereotypical White Scars information that you get, let alone much about the Khan himself, because he'd never really been given much screen time, especially compared to other Primarchs previously. But boy, does this novel deliver. It will make you love the White Scars, I guarantee that. That's a Wolf Lord guarantee right there. And on top of that, you will love Jaghatai Khan by the end of this novel. This dude is awesome. Then, once you finish this novel, you will understand why people are so hyped to see a Khan v Fulgrim duel upon Terra. And it's really just about one passage between them, but it's so great. It's so great that it's got everybody amped up. The passage in particular I'm going to be going over today is one of the best written scenes in the series thus far, because we literally get to witness a bunch of Primarchs having a chat, having a bit of banter, brothers chilling out, winding each other up. It's the kind of thing we all want to see, and again, it delivers really well. So without further ado, let's just jump straight in. You know what they talk of all across the crusade? Sanguinius had asked. Ulinor's steel grey atmosphere had hung behind the angel, making his rubescent armour shine all the more strongly. The Primarch lived up to his moniker, and his flawless face had glowed with honest amusement. It was not long after Horus's investiture, and the parade ground still swarmed with listless warriors. It would take weeks just to arrange the landers to convey them all to the fleet in orbit above. In the terrace, overlooking the main processional, silken awnings sheltered 4 Primarchs from the worst of the kicked-up engine fumes. There you could forget, if you tried, about the billions of soldiers all trying to find their way off-world at the same time. The Khan, still sitting with his brothers, wondered idly who would have been given the thankless task of orchestrating it. "Tell me," said Mortarion, though the Khan could see he was not really interested. The Death Lord had cut an isolated figure during the celebrations, uneasy in all but his own company. In that respect, the Khan had some sympathy with him. Sanguinius leaned back in his throne, dangling a golden goblet casually in one hand. They place wagers on which one of us would win in single combat. There are odds. I have seen them. Mortarion snorted. Fulgrim, the fourth of the gathering, laughed. That has been settled, has it not? Our brother Horus wins them all. Okay, before I go any further, you may have noticed I didn't mention how, if you can, you should go for the audiobook version like I normally do. Well, look, don't get me wrong. The audiobook is fantastic as always, and it really helps you identify with the characters of the White Scars and the Khan, what makes them really unique amongst the chapters. There is, however, one thing that is very wrong with this audiobook. Very, very wrong. It's just wrong. And that is the voice that Sanguinius has in this audiobook. Oh god, it's awful. Sanguinius sounds like some kind of pompous fool in this one. So if you're a huge Sanguinius fan, buy the actual written version, and then you can imagine Sanguinius as he sounds, like he does in all the other audiobooks, a much more expected Sanguinius. But when I first heard it in this one, I was like, what on earth is going on here? But anyway, let's get back on topic. Fulgrim and the Angel looked similar in some ways. They had the same sculptural faces, the same flamboyant armour. Where Sanguinius looked as though he had been born wearing gold-rimmed pauldrons though, The Khan had always thought Fulgrim looked to be trying a little too hard. In the end, he guessed that Sanguinius would have been happy to cast off his trappings. Fulgrim gave the impression that he would rather die. "That would seem to be our father's view," said Sanguinius. "It won't stop the common man making wages." Mortarion shook his pale head, and the tubes running from his rebreather jangled against one another. "Stupid." Fulgrim gave him an amused look. "Oh? Why is that?" "Because we were made for different fights," growled the Death Lord. His filtered voice never seemed to shift from a sullen register. "Come to Barbarous, peacock, and see how long your feathers last in the smog." I really like this observation by Mortarion here. The Primarchs were indeed made for different fights. The Emperor's intention, of course, was for them to cover each other's deficiencies, to have different strengths and weaknesses. However, it works equally when you consider them actually fighting against each other. While yes, we have a top tier of Primarchs that we know, for all of them, some of their strengths work better against different Primarchs depending on the situation. So they're like rock, paper, scissors against each other. Some of them have better chances against the other, some not so much. Fulgrim's silver eyebrows rose. "Perhaps I might, brother." "I would not recommend it," said Sanguinius. "I have seen those chem clouds. I suspect he would stand them longer than you, Fulgrim." "Some of us had it easier than others," Mortarion muttered. Fulgrim looked archly at Sanguinius. An awkward silence fell. "You should not regret that," said the Khan. The other three turned, as if surprised that he had a voice. "The hardship." Mortarion glared at him sourly. His pallid flesh almost matched Ulinor's overcast, humid skies. "I don't regret it," he said. "I could regret that only some of us gained our father's favour, though. I could regret that." Sanguinius took a sip of wine from his glass, serenely unconcerned. "Brother, you should be pleased for Horus." "Why?" Mortarion's expression was pinched. "Because he was found first? Had the longest to work with his legion? If it had been you on Cophonia, if it had been me, we might have been in his place now." Again, this is a really good point by Mortarion here. Would Horus still be first amongst brothers if he wasn't found first? If he didn't get to spend those decades with the Emperor alone before his first brother was found? I don't think he necessarily would. Of course it's possible, even likely. Horus is stated many times over across lots of novels by several different Primarchs. He is the best of us. While others may excel at a particular thing, Horus is consistently one of the best at everything. However, we could say he would still have been named War Master had... would he still have been named War Master first if Sanguinius had been found first? I mean, I highly doubt that. If Sanguinius had been alone with the Emperor for decades, I think it's a shoo-in that Sanguinius would have been War Master. He was rumoured to have been considered for the position anyway. Lionel Johnson? Maybe. It's stated that Horus savoured being named War Master over the Lion most. And that's with the Lion's upbringing in the wilds of Caliban. If he had spent decades alongside the Emperor after that, being moulded and groomed, I think we'd easily have a Lion as War Master. And the debate goes on. Rogel Dawn, Rabute Gilliman. Mortarion's point is an interesting one to consider. Or was Horus, in the genetic engineering, engineered to be the leader? Was it fate that the Emperor found him first? Interesting points that Mortarion's actually talking about there. Fulgrim sniffed. "Speak for yourself. Being War Master is not the only accolade." Sanguinius laughed. "No more talk of your Palatine Aquila, brother. You will only make him more jealous." "I'm not jealous. Not of Horus, nor of you," scowled Mortarion, missing the humour in Sanguinius's voice. "You don't understand the problem." Fulgrim leaned forward, clasping his long hands together. Which is? While he was leading us, said Mortarion, we fought to gain even a glance or gesture from him. That was acceptable, for none of us are his rival. Nothing in the galaxy is his rival. Now, we will fight to gain a glance from Horus. But Horus is not the architect of this. He is just one of us. It will lead to trouble. Fulgrim shot a tolerant glance at Sanguinius. He is jealous. The Khan shook his head. Fulgrim could be irritatingly stupid. No, he speaks the truth. It should never have happened. Sanguinius looked at the Khan thoughtfully. I thought you, of all of us, would feel joy for Horus. The Khan shrugged. He is the best of us. I begrudge him nothing. And I have told him so. But it should never have happened. So should it have been you? Asked Fulgrim. Mortarion snorted again, but Sanguinius said nothing. I wouldn't have taken it, said the Khan. Of course you would have, said Fulgrim. The Khan shook his head. I have no use for another title. My people give me enough. Sanguinius smiled. My brother, I think you are the most inscrutable of us all. I know what Rogel wants. I know what Rabute wants. But even after so long, I have no idea what you want. He wants to be left alone, said Fulgrim, to shoot off into the stars and hunt down Xenos on those delightful jet bikes. They're devilishly fast. I heard from a contact on Mars, Jaghatai, that you do strange things to your ships. The Khan shot him a heavy-lidded stare. I heard you do strange things to your warriors. Boom! There it is. Greatest burn in the history of the 40k so far. If that doesn't make you like the Khan, then I'm not sure what else will. I heard you do strange things to your warriors. And the more you read of the Khan, the more you realise he really doesn't care. He has so many fantastic quotes. You could easily make a Khan's top 20 quote list and publish it for good reading. You know, the Khan, yeah, he has no sensitivity level. He just cuts straight into the point, no matter who he's talking to or what he's talking about. And that is something that makes him a really great character to read. Fulgrim's slender face briefly flared with anger, but Sanguinius laughed. I wonder which of you would win a duel, the angel mused. I would like to see that. You both handle a blade like gods. We both would like to see that, Sanguinius. We both would like to see that. Name the place, brother, Fulgrim said to the Khan. I'd even travel to Chogoris if you built a palace to keep the dust from my armour. The Khan felt the insult. It stabbed at him, deeply, but his expression never changed. They could never know, none of them, how much their closed fraternity rankled him. You would lose, said the Khan. Fulgrim grinned, but there was something fragile in it. Oh? You would lose because you would treat it like a game, like you treat everything, and I would not. You would lose because you know nothing of me, and I know everything of you, because you shout it from the turrets of your battle cruisers. My prowess remains unknown. You have some reputation as a swordsman, brother, but I make no boast when I tell you I would leave you choking on it. Again, the Khan just absolutely cutting in with his remarks there. You would lose because you treat it like a game, like you treat everything, and I would not. The Khan's not about fighting for the sake of it. If he draws his blade, he means to eviscerate you in the most lethal way, in the most efficient way possible. You would lose because you know nothing of me, and I know everything of you because you shout it from the turrets of your battle cruisers. Again, the Khan is not about drawing attention to himself like Fulgrim. He couldn't care less. He doesn't want attention. His whole existence is about being unknowable. The Emperor himself even comments on such a thing to Malkador in one of their conversations. My prowess remains unknown. You have some reputation as a swordsman, brother, but I make no boast when I tell you I would leave you choking on it. I'm not making a boast. I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you. I'd kick your ass. How can you not love Jaghatai Khan after a line like that? And seriously, this is how he talks pretty much all of the time. He doesn't mess around. Fulgrim's cheeks flushed. For a moment, he looked like he was going to go for his blade. As ever, Sanguinius's calm smile soothed the moment. Now I regret bringing this up, he sighed. In the cause of peace, shall we put this stupidity behind us? We are not at war, and never likely to be, and that is truly a blessing. Who'd have thought it, said Mortarion to the Khan, a shrewd glint in his eyes. You do have your pride. As do you. Then what would be the wager on us, brother? Asked Mortarion. What would you pay if we fought? The Khan sighed. No, I grow tired of. Tell me, Mortarion insisted. Or do you only consider the odds with sword dancers? The Khan stared back at him. As he did so, he realised that of all his 17 brothers, Mortarion was the only one who, like him, had remained on the utter margins during the Great Crusade. Even Alfarius had played more of a role at the centre. The Death Lord was as mysterious to him as the warp. Intriguing. I don't know, he said, truthfully enough. It would be interesting to find out. Mortarion laughed then, but what could be seen of his expression was crooked. His whole face seemed arranged for dourness, as if levity risked cracking it. That it would, he said. But we have nothing to fight over, you and I, so breathe easy. No? Asked Sanguinius, seriously this time. Not even the Librarius? That crooked face smile faded. That's different. And of course, we have already been treated to a Mortarion v Jaghatai fight, which I can cover for you in a future upload. But oh man, I cannot wait for the Khan and Fulgrim to go at it at the Siege of Terra. And Fulgrim is now a demon Primarch. A demon Primarch with 4 sword-wielding arms. You know, I would have loved to have seen them go at it properly before Fulgrim became a demon Primarch. I really feel that's a missed opportunity. That would have been some really fantastic writing, and then they could have had the rematch once he's been elevated to a demon Primarch. But still, you've got to think the Khan's going to be like, no mate, I don't care how many arms you got, I'm still going to kick your ass. So it's going to be good. I hope the Khan arrives just surfing through hordes of traitors atop like a charging razorback or a rhino. Oh man, the Siege of Terra is going to be awesome. I don't want it to end. I hope they flesh out the Great Crusade area a bit more so we get to see more of this Primarch interaction before the heresy, before the brothers were torn apart by the heresy. But what did you guys think of this interaction? Did you enjoy the novel Scars? Have you read it? If you haven't, do you plan on reading it now? Did, like me, you get a much larger appreciation for the Khan and the White Scars after reading it? Who do you think will win? Jaghatai or Fulgrim? Will the Demon Primarch be too much for him? Fulgrim was one of the best duelists going amongst the Primarchs even before his elevation. We know he ultimately kills Rabute. So what about now? Good times are coming, my friends. Good times are coming indeed. Drop a comment down below with your thoughts and let's get some chat going. You know, and if you're a lover of everything 40k lore related and enjoying the content of this channel, please consider subscribing to help me build the channel and to help it grow. I'm truly appreciative of all the support you guys are giving me. It really helps motivate me to keep sharing my thoughts on the lore with you all and to really build this channel up as much as possible. Also, if you enjoyed this particular video, then please drop a like. But with that said, I'm off and I'll see you all again real soon.